Oh yeah, oh yeah, cool. We are recording.
We
Nice.
are now recording. What's up, everyone? I'm Yaler Community, known as a Tavern Keeper in the Raid Guild. I'm here helping onboard, building the apprentice program, and helping amazing Web3 tools come to life.
Yeah, and I'm Van, designer, product designer with the guild, and many other things also. But these days, most of my time is attributed to the guild to help build many different things together. Any other guilders here want to introduce themselves?
Brada, you here?
Yeah, I think RaidGuild's awesome. That's mostly it. Also, I think it's really cool that pretty much if you show up to RaidGuild and you have value to add, you can create really cool things. You can launch projects and work with people and get stuff done. So it's very much really like a DAO-driven org. Like it's very DAO, and it's also very awesome. And those things combined make it one of my favorite projects in the space at all, if not my favorite project. So yeah, it's really cool.
Nice.
Samesies.
Yeah, totally. It's really, yeah, we try to have as much fun as possible while also creating as much value. So I think that keeps it as a nice loop.
And it's like a frequency, it like dips up and down. It's like, oh, no more work is happening now, and you're like, oh, the more fun is happening now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the beautiful thing is that people don't work on things they're not interested in. Like you don't come to Raid Guild to get a job per se. You find opportunities, you meet people to work with, but you know, it's not like we're going to be giving you like build this front end website you have no interest in.
Right. Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that's kind of like the point of why RaidGuild was formed initially, was to just a lot of us wanted to build more things, and we can do that better together than apart. Yeah, it's really like where it all started, from within the meta cartel. Who else is here from the guild? Oh, yeah, Sam, you're here.
Yeah, I'm Sam. I'm a dev and Raid Guild member since the beginning. And yeah, just like to be out on raids, lopping heads off of Web3 monsters. So.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, okay. Is anybody else here from the guilds? Probably. But yeah, TLDR of the guild, I guess, is yeah, we're just a group. It's really just a group of people who are not just developers, which is certainly there are a lot of developers, but oh, wait, can you share host back to me, Yaler, so I can screen share? I forgot about that part.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get some visuals going on here.
There you go.
Nice.
You have the power.
Yeah, so we really are just a decentralized collective of people working together to build all the things, anything that's needed for Web3 in general. We're definitely focused on a lot of DAOs and apps, but really, yeah, there's just like a lot of really cool things that are happening. But like, yeah, so we are definitely have devs, but like these are like our roles from Discord. So as you can see, there's like ops people, biz devs, designers, some treasury management, account managers, data science. What is the Mystic Alchemist? Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Mystic Alchemist is a new category. It is a DAO consultant, so an expert DAO consultant.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, there's no leader here, so we all just like make contributions to change the guild over time. So it just like evolves with the community as it goes. So we just add more roles as new people show up that create value that is needed in the Web3 ecosystem in general. Tavern Keeper is a super important one that Yaler mentioned earlier. Those are like the people just making sure that the community has what it needs, that it's empowered to self-organize and to self-initiate their own raids and things. And really all that happens in the guild is that ideas bubble up either from within the guild, like someone says, hey, we should build this would be a really cool idea. And then someone else is like, oh, that's a cool idea, I'll help you build that. And then at that point they start a raid, which is just a little micro working group where they start building that thing, whatever it is. Yeah, we just like focus mainly on just like getting things done as quickly as possible, and just shipping things, getting them out, not pontificating and like discussing things for too long, just making sure that things are get out in the world and get used and get community validation first, which definitely goes towards the meme-driven development stuff that we'll get into later. And yeah, so one of the most newest roles here is the bards for marketing, which is really cool. We finally got some like direct marketing focus. And to Yaler's point, you know, all these roles are here because like the point of a collective really, or at least as from the guild's perspective, is that, yeah, we should really just do what we really care about and focus on creating the value that we create the best. Like, so that definitely comes from like things that we care most about, typically like things that we're passionate about or whatever, but also those tend to be the things that we're really good at also.
Yeah, I love the idea of like solving our own problems, and one great example of that is the Wrap ETH site that you guys deployed last month. It's a great tool that we use, you know, on a daily basis when creating and making proposals in a Moloch DAO, because you can't send ETH to a Moloch DAO. So the team also deployed this tool for everyone else. It's open source and you can use it, implement it into your own website. It works, simple, easy.
Right, and that's a really good example. It was just like there wasn't really like one place that you could just go and just wrap ETH. And everybody was like always Googling how the hell do I wrap ETH? What is wrapped ETH? Blah, 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 blah. And there are some good sites for explaining what that is, but not really how to do it. And some of those have like died over time and whatever. So we just kind of spun up this really simple, easy interface to do that. But that's like a really good example of like an internal raid where like someone was like, hey, we should have like a nice place where people can just go and wrap ETH so that they can easily do that. And then it's no longer a point of friction. So we just like started a raid and built it. And those internal things, the guild itself, like when you tribute into the guild, when you join the guild, you put in some ETH to join the guild with us. And then we all have this shared pool of ETH that we can spend on these internal raids. So like either things to like improve the guild itself, like whatever internal op structures, documentation, handbook type things, how-tos, how to do things within the guild, how to form a raid and whatever. Yeah, and we fund those ourselves. And if we need funds from elsewhere, then we like go and try to get someone to match those funds or whatever, but we just focus on trying to get things done and shipped out to the community as best and fast as possible, I guess. Yeah, I guess we're fast and good, not cheap. But,
we have three categories for client raids, and it's fast, good, or cheap. Pick two.
Right.
So we like to put ourselves into the fast and good category.
Right, and there's totally like a lot of really neat ops things to kind of like get that are happening on the back end, which we won't really get into. But if you join the guild, you'll learn more about that stuff. But it really just like cuts down on the coordination cost of all of it, so that we can cooperate and collaborate better and faster and more efficiently and stuff. Just to focus on that outcome of like getting shit done, shipping. But yeah. It's really just a bunch of people.
Excuse me, how do you form a raid?
You literally just like start a chat in our Discord. Like whenever you can seed an idea out into one of the other channels, like maybe this thing should be built or whatever. And then when there's like more than one person there and it's time to get working on it, then you just start a working group chat. Just a little channel in the Discord, and then all the guild can see that and things. So like anybody else can jump in and like give little thoughts and help, if they get a blocker or whatever, or just like providing feedback or different things like that. So
I think it's important to clarify, like to raid with RaidGuild, you have to be a member of RaidGuild. Of course, you can raid on your own, or like in a different way. But like with us, we have different permissions inside of our Discord. So members have certain permissions to certain channels that are internal members only channels. They get more attention, more eyes from the members. And so it helps to kind of be inside that whole spectrum so you can see everything that's happening. And then ideas bubble up. So we'll talk about things in the internal tavern, or that we call it the back tavern, or ideas will come in the front tavern, and then we'll discuss them in dev or design. And then we'll decide to deploy a raid. And we have two types of raid. RIPs, which are Raid Guild improvement proposals. And those are more internal. They're things we need, things we want to work on collectively. And then we have raids, like external raids, and those are client-facing things or things that like work with other organizations outside of the community. And so it helps to break those things up like that. And yeah, like Venom was just saying, it goes from a discussion, an idea, to creating a chat, and then taking that chat and like assigning roles through the, we have some specified templates that we use, like HackMDs, just to say like who's going to do what, what's our timeline, what's our spec for this proposal. And then we spin up a raid channel, and it's active until it is completed, shipped, and then we move it down into the crypt where it lives forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
So you guys aren't gamers, are you?
Oh yeah, I mean, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it also just helps though, you know, like some of us aren't such gamers, but having like the RPG element in the community is like creates like an interesting like shared narrative, even if you're not a gamer.
I love it.
Like, it makes it like fun and like I don't know, yeah, it's like we're getting shit done and we're working, but there's like really no reason why we can't have a lot of fun doing that, you know?
Heck yeah.
And it's I don't know, I mean, we certainly have our like entire own lexicon as a community. There's even like a glossary of terms that we have in our handbook, but which, you know, is a friction from the outside of the community. But once you're in the community, then it just like makes sense, I feel like. But yeah, it's a super fun, interesting thing to think about that. This is our actual DAO. As Barada said, we are very DAO. All of our funds, all member tributes go directly into this bank that we all share, and then we can use those for the internal raids or for whatever. Yeah, literally just like paying anybody for anything to do anything within the guild. We try to like, if anybody like improves the guild through like initiative, then we try to make sure that they get, you know, at least something for that, you know. So it's not just like a bunch of volunteer work or whatever. It's like, yeah, we respect each other's time, we respect each other's efforts, and we want to like, yeah, reward people and incentivize. I guess on this point, we started collecting some of our own like personal tokens as well. We haven't put any in here yet, but we've whitelisted them into the DAO. So we're starting to hold personal tokens of the guild members also in our DAO, which is totally experimental, but yeah, we're always like at the very tip of the experimental edge. It's kind of like where we live, at the point of like highest chaos, but also highest innovation. So it's, yeah, to Yaler's point, it's not like a job where you can come in and everything's like super structured and like someone's above you who's going to tell you what to do. It's like very self-initiative driven. So yeah, I think that's a really important part of it.
If it's a game, it's definitely a choose your own adventure game.
Yes, yeah, and it's not like there's any commitments either when you join the guild, really. It's just like whatever is interesting to you, whatever you want to create value for, you just do it. You know, you can just team up with other people and create. There's no like obligations for anybody like do anything specific or anything. So I mean, if to get into the guild, we would assume that you would do some things, you know. Otherwise, we probably won't let you in the guild, but that's really about it.
The expectation is like bring an idea to the guild for improving it, and there's a likelihood that you can deploy a Raid Guild internal improvement raid, or stake ETH, and we're going to spend your ETH on Raid Guild internal improvement proposals. And because it shares, you get to decide if you approve of that spending of funds or if you want to block the spending of funds. The beauty of Moloch DAO.
Yeah, and because it's a DAO, every dollar that we spend is completely open, and you have a vote, a voice with those. So, yeah, I think that's kind of a good TLDR of the guild. I guess any questions and things? I mean, this is totally just like an open casual event to just hang out with us and learn about us and things. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
We'll move into the next phase after that, I think.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, first question. What is an example of RIP that you guys have done, or the typical thing that you would do? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like probably like one of the biggest ones that's always underway is our handbook. So like we're a decentralized collective. So a really important part is like the ops structures of like how to do things. Like really like this handbook is meant to like empower every member of Raid Guild to go and do the things that they can do. Like empower them to like team up with each other and how to do the different things. They don't have to do anything the same way as the guild. Everybody's autonomous. Every raid is autonomous. All funds from an external raid goes to those people who are working on the raid. And then at the end of that raid, they can put more tribute back into the guild to get more shares, but those raids are completely autonomous. So like a big, like one of the, like the ongoing RIPs is just always just like keeping the handbook updated with like what everything is, like how everything works, and like, how to like find each other and how to do different things in a way that's, just to get shit done, I guess. What's another RIP that was
The Moloch minions, perhaps?
Moloch Minion? Yeah, was that an RIP?
I think it
Yeah.
was. Is Deacon here?
He might be on the Metacartel Town Hall, actually. Yeah, Minion's a great one. So, like, we have a DAO, and and we're super, like, RPG style. So, like, one thing that would be really helpful for the guild is being able to, like, mint NFTs as achievements for each guild member. So, like, when you complete a project, for example, like, you can get an NFT, and then, so, like, but the community felt like it was important that everyone was able to vote on those things to distribute people these NFTs and these achievements. So the Minion was a tool that was developed to allow the Moloch, any Moloch DAO actually, but in this particular use case, the Raid Guild, to actually like submit a proposal to this DAO that actually mints an NFT for someone as an achievement. I believe that's like where it started as a use case, was so that we as a guild could actually like vote on that and make sure that that people weren't just like, distributing NFTs for no reason. Like it was actually like a social reputation, like an achievement, like you actually like shipped this product within the guild or whatever. So it was really important that was like behind like community votes. So,
maybe you could show them the badges.raidguild.
Oh yeah.
That's a great place to display Moloch DAO badges that can be issued by the Minion.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. So these are like, well, this is just like all on-chain activity of like how many times you've like voted and how many times you've sponsored proposals, and it's just kind of like a bunch of like actual metrics around like participating in governance, basically participating in the DAOs, dissents, how many proposals have you submitted, summonings of DAOs, memberships of DAOs, all these different types of things, rage quits, all kinds of things.
What do you guys use to track these contributions?
I mean, that's all just through the DAOs. So it's all, every proposal and every vote is like on-chain activity. So
we've created a subgraph on the graph that actually like indexes all the activity and like all the Moloch DAOs that have been launched through the DAO House app.
Okay, cool.
And then you can earn these NFTs, and then you can mint the NFTs and favorite them and things on your 3box profile and things. So it just kind of like adds a little social layer to DAO participation, basically, through trustless NFTs. Was like one use case. But what's really great about the Minion, I guess, is that it basically just allows a Moloch DAO to call any function in any other contract, but only if a proposal passes in the DAO. So can do it. Basically just allows for Moloch DAOs to do like anything from an actual DAO proposal, not just like some admin somewhere that can go and do it or whatever. So
Hey, you guys. This is Scott from LexDAO.
We can hear you. It's very quiet, though.
Yeah, you're really quiet.
Turn it up a little bit. Can you guys hear me? Check, 1, 2.
That's a little better.
Okay. Hey, it's Scott from LexDAO, and I really love what you guys are doing.
Yo, yo.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out how to sort of work with the Raid Guild to get some of my like projects, moved forward. But I don't really want to throw like one of the sort of like the really big one in the Raid Guild quite yet. So what I want to do is kind of like pass one through, like somebody called me and they're like, "Hey Scott, here's a good idea for the blockchain." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, do you want anything for it?" He goes, "No, I'm just giving you an idea." And I'm like, "Okay, so why don't I take that idea, present it to you guys, post up a little bit of money, bounty or whatever, just something reasonable, and then sort of like watching this workflow kind of move through where we have this sort of like finished thing. And let's all share in it. Let's all co-own it together, put all of our, whatever addresses in that, the protocol. So right when we launch it, it's got its own UI. It does something useful, and see where that goes. That way, it doesn't have to be my idea. It can be our idea. I'll just lay it out there. I'll fund it a little bit, and the rest of it, we got to put our time and effort into it. And if it works, that's a good sort of use case for that thing that we're trying to do, which is go back when somebody says, "Hey, so what projects have you done?" There's actually this legitimate product that's out in the wild, and if we do it right, it is going to make money, because as we know, there's thousands of projects out there that could benefit from the blockchain, but just nobody's like the Raid Guild that's actually trying to provide actually a solution. You see it out in DeFi, but we're not doing the nuts and bolts, but you guys are. So I want to be kind of like the first guinea pig that just offers it up. We can co-own it together, or I'll just figure out and like work a little budget with you guys, because it's not complicated. It's just some solidity and some UI stuff, and we're gonna put a little money behind it. And we're gonna advertise it. That's it. That's the whole program right there. So how should I sort of like now work with you guys? I don't think I need to be a member of you guys. I just kind of want to be a client, but I'm going to offer you guys that we all share in the spoils of it, because I don't really care that much about the project. If it makes me a lot of money, that's great though, and it'll help this whole collective. So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, totally. So like I feel like that's a flow that's pretty standard. I mean, well, not the total flow. The co-ownership thing is super interesting and like absolutely something that we're experimenting in different ways also. But I guess you would just enter the tavern, which is public in our Discord, and then from there we can shepherd you over to like a client chat, basically, where you can have access to the guild members themselves and things.
Well, I don't even mind just throwing it out right now. It's like, I'm not trying to protect anything on it. I'm just like, you guys have 10 members here right now in the LexDAO. I know what it's like to get everybody at least on the same phone call together. Let me just tell you what the idea is. You guys can spin it. You guys can go talk about it privately. But I think we make more progress when we're actually on these live calls. It's like, I could send you guys some messages back and forth, or we can just like talk turkey right now and just figure it out. Or this might be not the appropriate time to do it. We do need to schedule a live call, and hopefully you guys can get 10 members on the line so we can truly vet it out, and you guys can be like, "That Scott guy, he's full of shit. He doesn't know anything." Or you're like, "No, it sounds good. Let's go for it," because there's no risk involved. There's zero risk. It's just an idea, and the idea is in pet licensing, because everybody's got to do it. If you got these pets, you got to do this stuff on the blockchain. There's fees involved. People want a simpler way to do it. All the cities have their own different little way of doing it. But if we can standardize pet licensing within every county throughout the United States or the world, well, I don't know about the world, I don't know how they deal with pets, but in the United States, every county kind of collects money and gives you a little tag. It's just a transaction. So we blockchain that all, put a little fee on it. The Raid Guild always gets a little piece of the action on every one that's done. Of course, it's going to make some money because people are going to embrace it. And the entire system right now is fractured. It's not really controlled the way that you would think a government is really controlling certain aspects of their society. It's really just a fee that people in local governments send out and go, "We know you have a dog, pay us $25," and you pay it. And that's it. So it's a huge moneymaker. So if we can clean that up, we'll make money on that deal.
So I like the idea, and I think it's a great candidate to jump into like the client arena, which is an open public channel on our Discord. You don't have to be a member of that to have access to it. I would just post up like the idea, maybe even like a spec document on some starting points, and then we can get members who are interested to look at that. I'll help ferry interest into a actual room where we can get all the members to give feedback and look at it, and that's kind of like the process that it goes through, like in a flow. And then we can talk about like what the details look like and what kind of Raid Guild skills we'll need, like as far as from the developer side. But yeah, that's I think a great idea and a great starting point for a collaboration between LexDAO and
No, it
Raid
wouldn't even
Guild.
be Lex Dow. This is a pure Scott Stevenson deal.
All right,
It's
Scott
just
Scott
me.
Dow Scott Dow and Raid Guild then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it reads if you want to.
I mean, we may there
Yeah.
may need to be though like a legal overview of like, is this like, because we are not going to know how to implement it in between each county or each state or each city, so there may be a way for Lex Dow to provide
I can do all
services.
that. I have all the legal background we need. Really, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to experiment with the Raid Guild to say, let's get something launched out there. So what's more important to me, really, because I pay coders actually. They do stuff for me. I want to do it with you guys because you're already a cohesive group that isn't already structured like in a top-down management oversight, got to pay VC back, got to do something. You guys are free. You guys are the one group that I know that's free to do whatever you want. So I think on something like this, let's just get the sort of the money and the ownership and everything out of the way kind of at the beginning. So yeah, go into the client thing and you guys can say, oh, Raid Guild needs 50%. I'm like, fine, let's just go for it. Because for me, it's less about the money. It's more about seeing the process happen. So
Right.
if you think that's the right way to do it, let's just go for it. You just tell me what you want. There's the idea. If I need to put $1,000 in an account to secure that I'm real, I'll just put $1,000 in, I don't know, sub DAO, big DAO, whatever you want. And then we just start moving with that process, knowing that at the end of the line, my one Web3 address that's connected to my company needs to be in every Solidity code, because all of these transactions should just be hooked through a public chain where every single one of them has a 10-cent charge on it, 15 cents, $3. It doesn't really matter what the charge is as long as the market will bear it. And make sure all the Raid Guild members that are touching this program are also in that sort of line of the drip or whatever we're going to use in the Solidity, that way Scott can go be Scott, Raid Guild can do whatever it wants under its formation or shield or legal structure or whatever, but everything is just tied into the Solidity code, and then we all have to trust each other that we're all going to follow the same UI though, or if it's going to be different UIs, it all points back
I
to
think
the
we
same
should work
Solidity
all those
address.
details out in a channel. I think that's great, and I think it's an awesome starting point. So
Okay,
perfect.
Cool. All right, thanks for entertaining me on that,
No
guys.
worries,
I know
appreciate
took
it,
a lot of
Scott.
time.
Let's jump into meme-driven development.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think, yeah, that's a good, but that is the process. I mean, an idea just pops up and then the idea isn't done yet, right? It's just, it gets molded by everybody else also. So that flow is exactly how it works in the guild pretty much. So, but yeah, feel free to experiment for sure. That's, yeah, definitely what we're here for.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I guess we should switch on. Running out of time. Meme-driven development. Oh yeah. So this is like a little fun exercise we thought would be cool for people to test, kind of like come in and test the guild also. So just like an exercise for the week, if anybody wants to collaborate and actually get rating and doing some things, this is how you can do it. And if anybody builds some, some cool shit through this process, then we'll give you DAO shares. That's how it works. So yeah, I'll just go through a little bit about like what meme-driven development is and shit. Yeah, the fuck is meme-driven development? I mean, the basics of it really is this community validation first. Like a meme, just meme it into existence. Coalesce around an idea, just like Scott was talking about. And if that idea propagates and people are starting to like grasp onto it or whatever, then at that point, then you build it because you have community validation. You have like validation that it's an actual good idea from a community of people, not just your own head. That's probably the most important part, really, about meme-driven development. And like, what is a meme really? Like, this is a standard definition. Like, a meme is an idea, behavior, or style that spreads by means of imitation from person to person within a culture and often carries symbolic meaning, representing a particular phenomenon or theme. So it's really just like a visualization of an idea that can be shared. And if it does get shared, and if people like latch onto it, then it becomes a meme. And oftentimes they are fun, funny, or edgy, enough to stand out from like the noise of other memes. Some typical meme examples that I'm sure a lot of you have seen, especially Money Printer Go Burr. Good timing for that. And then for like a case study, like Moloch DAO's pretty epic meme-driven development case study. And it really all started out at this like this essay by Scott Alexander called Meditations on Moloch. I think it was like 2014 or something. But it was really inspirational, and it's really like where the meme came from. And they were really inspired by the idea of Moloch as a god of coordination failure, which totally ties into the meme ability. But this excerpt from it, I think, is really powerful. It really captures the idea of the meme. There's a passage in the Principia Discordia where Moloch complains to the goddess about the evils of human society. Everyone is hurting each other. The planet is rampant with injustices. Whole societies plunder groups of their own people. Mothers imprison sons. Children perish while brothers war. The goddess answers, "What is the matter with that if it's what you want to do?" Malaclip says, "Nobody wants it. Everybody hates it." Goddess says, "Oh well, then stop." And the implicit question there is, if everyone hates the current system, who perpetrates it? And Ginsburg answers, Moloch. It's powerful not because it's correct. Nobody literally thinks that an ancient Carthaginian demon causes everything, but because thinking of the system as an agent throws into relief the degree to which the system isn't an agent. So really, like, this idea of self-organization and self-power, and like, you are the ones who can like make change, really like inspired the entire like beginnings of Moloch DAO. And of course, it's super, super memeable. Moloch, whose mind is pure machinery, Moloch, whose blood is running money, just kind of like perfectly ties into like what a DAO is also. So they really got behind this idea of like, you know, this demon of Moloch that we're all kind of fighting, you know, and like kind of like reappropriating that for good, I guess, and like coordination. There's more Moloch memes. And then Moloch DAO itself came out, and it was, you know, it's really just like Solidity contracts that are like focused on addressing human coordination failures. All of these problems that were addressed in this like meditations on Moloch. And Tragedy of the Commons, which we all know is a problem. And so this was just like, Moloch DAO was like envisioned as like a minimized decentralized governance mechanism. Just, yeah, literally just encoded in smart contracts. And then after that, like emerged into like this entire like DAO framework of like where anybody can use the same code to coordinate in this way. So now it's like an entire framework. So that same idea, I think, would be fun to play around with this week. So if anybody wants to come into our Discord, there's some channels set up for DAOrushweek, where very similar to how we work in the guild itself, a couple places to like share ideas and to form teams and things. And then there's a raid category in the Discord where you can make your own chats. Whenever you get like an idea together, you can like, yeah, make a raid and start working on it. But it's really just two principles. Like, what is an idea or a problem that you want to focus on? Make a meme of it, post it in the memes channel, and then try to get some people to like build on that idea and build something cool off of it, whatever it is, even if it's just like better memes, whatever, like something that communicates that idea. The ideas and the concept is really what's king, is the point of this whole like meme driven development stuff, like focusing on the core problems and like, and communicating that. So yeah, you can hop into our Discord. Here, I'll share this link.
And is this independent? Quick question, if it's a good time.
Yeah, go for it.
Hey guys, Joe Diaz here. I'm with Block Theory. We do marketing for blockchain companies and DAOs and things. So quick question. I was looking at the raidguild.org/join page, and I'm working my way through that right now. I actually have to get myself a Ethereum wallet first. But is this joining the Discord, is that like an in-between state? Could you join the Discord and talk in those public channels of prior to it looks like through this, you're kind of waiting maybe to get in through a raid, but is this kind of another way to chat with the team?
Yeah, definitely. So the tavern is what we call the public facing place where everybody's welcome. Guilders are in there. Everybody can talk. Everybody can just like chat publicly without being a guild member. Just drop your random ideas that, you know, hey guild, what do you guys think about this or whatever, and like maybe somebody will just like pick it up and start building it or whatever. But yeah, the tavern is like totally public facing. So yeah, absolutely, everyone's invited in there.
Great.
Yeah.
You want to show people kind of the layout of our Discord so they can have a look at the public channels and then the channels we've created for them?
Yeah, that's a good call. The Discord itself is a nice visualization, I think.
Yeah, I think it's laid out really well, and some people don't actually even use Discord, so it's a new experience that takes a little getting used to. But once you figure it out, it's like everything is right exactly where you need it.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, I want to take that. This is Scott again. I want to take that idea and put it in the Discord. And what channel would I put that in if I want to give a little description and
Then we'll show you
recap? Okay.
the client arena.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so this is our Discord. So like all these public channels are totally public to open to everybody. Tavern is like just like the super open public place. Come in and have a beer, share thoughts and war stories and whatever. There's a bunch of other open channels. And yeah, as Taylor said earlier, we have like an apprentice program too. So like people who don't have ETH but want to contribute value, they can kind of earn their way through the guild also. So there's like these apprentice channels. But Client Arena is the one that Taylor was talking about. These are like, yeah, well, how would you describe it, I guess?
That's the one that is not open to me. So I guess for Scott or for Tim Finney, open that channel for me, and that's where I'll start discussing it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Thanks.
You're gonna get the client tag right now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice. Virtual reality, where we just do virtual reality meetups. But yeah, so then like once you get in the guild, then there's like a battlefield, which is where we like kind of talk about ideas and form them into before they become a raid, and just kind of like discuss, you know, like who needs this, or if someone needs help in some other like realm of work. Yeah, basically like internal stuff. And then Guild HQ is like ops. For sure, there's a bunch of stuff in there about just like the guild running itself, basically. And so this is like mostly like just internal operations of the guild, basically. And then these are all active raids. So like each raid, just like, yeah, you just start a chat. This is the Moloch minion one here. And then you just start working, basically. So these are just like nice little places where you can work. And yeah, so guilders can come in and like say stuff, or you can ask guilders things and whatever. Everybody has public access to these, but there's just a nice little quiet place where you can work. So the same kind of system is set up for DAOrushweek, where we have like a DAOrushweek battlefield down here. You have your own back tavern, you can form teams, who is available. You can kind of like check like, I need a designer, or I need a content person, or I need whatever it is that you're trying to build. You can just ask around, basically. And this is where you can like post memes. And then if you do get for the meme driven development stuff, just create memes, post them in here, and form teams. And whenever you like form a team, then you can just start a raid channel down here, basically.
And if anyone has problems deploying a raid, you've given you all access. You should be able to access those deploy raid channels. Let me know if you have an issue, or if it's not spinning up for you.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, they can totally like just tag Tavern Keeper, right?
Yeah, just tag, show them, you just go at Tavern Keeper. That's a community person, usually me in this case. It can help you solve any problems inside Discord.
Hey guys, I got a quick question for you. So I'm with Crown DAC and MetaDAC on EOS mainnet. We also did a DAC-a-thon as well. Basically, we built a DAC as a group, and had a hackathon in part of that. My question is, how do you do like community engagement? What are some obstacles in that? Like another part of that question is, how have your expectations changed of what active participation means? I'm just kind of curious about that, because that's a major problem with a lot of DACs and DAOs. Great job, guys. Cool project.
But what's the actual problem when you say it's a problem?
Just consistent engagement, defining what an active community member does, how to get that reoccurring active engagement. Right.
I mean, Yaler can totally speak to that more. I'm just a lowly worm designer in the guild. But
Hardly.
But what I will say from my perspective is that I am just a lowly worm designer, and I don't know how to run communities or how to engage communities and things. But so the point of the guild is to like team up our own skills with people who do. And we've been very fortunate to have people like Yaler come in and help us with the community stuff. So that's definitely one thing that's been really nice, is that we just augment our own skills with other people. Instead of us each of us trying to do things that we don't do well, we try to make sure that we're able to augment our own skills, I guess.
Yeah, I think one thing with community engagement is making sure that people have something they can do once they get involved or jump in to the community. And for us, like we're actually, I mean, this is for me personally. I'm only like 90 days into being a member of Raid Guild. Like, um, having heard about it at ETH Denver and them having spun it up, I don't know, a month or two prior to that. And so the goal is to create opportunities for people to be impactful and to add some value to the organization from the get-go, whether that's like doing a quick issue, proposing an RIP, finding some way for people to like get involved, learn a little bit about us, and like add something to the community. Because for us, we really want people who are incentivized to make Raid Guild more awesome and to find ways to collaborate with the existing members on projects that are happening right now. And there will always be people who want to come in and, you know, just do some work and stuff like that, which is cool, which is what pledging is for. But the goal is for us to improve our community, to get people who are aligned with, you know, the values we want to create and the frameworks we want to create, continue to provide the resources, make sure they have the right information, make it fun. You know, like we try to make as much of this stuff public for community members. You know, we have our weekly calls where we talk about raids, updates. I think it's important for like community managers and people who help develop communities to ensure that, like, you know, who's out there, who's available. Like, so to Joey's point, or Joe's point, he's working through like the member join form right now. Like, it's really important for us to make sure that all of our members have fleshed out like what skills they have, like what they're interested in doing, like what they want to work on, what they've worked on in the past, because like Raid Guild's a place to learn, to grow, to like, you know, to one up your skills, if you will. And we have a ton of people who are really great developers, you know, they're smart contract guys, designers. And so if you're at a lower level in your career, say, and you want to level up, Raid Guild's a great place for you to come in, to learn from some people, to join a raid as a member. And we are trying to open that up right now with our apprentice program, which is a beautiful work in progress that allows people to come and earn their way into the guild, one DAO share at a time. But for us, it's really important to make sure that the value is aligned and that the members who are working their way into the guild really want to add value and like not so much like extract funds from the DAO, because every time we do issue DAO shares, we are diluting ourselves. So we need to make sure that those people are going to continuously create value. They want to be in the community long term. So yeah, it's like an eye towards who the people are and how long they've been in the community, and like what those applications look like. Because, you know, as a community manager, like Tavern Keeper, it's like we're reviewing those applications all the time. Who's applied? Where are they coming from? Like, how many other skill sets do we have of this particular person, to keep a nice balance, right? So that raids can be well balanced. Because if I've got like 30 smart contract developers and no PMs, right? And everyone's like, just tell me what to code. And there's nobody that can say like, you know, let's have the Scrum meeting on Monday, then nothing moves, right? And client relationships don't move, internal raids don't move. So it's about having a good balance of different people. And so we are pretty selective, you know, with the members that we onboard. And, you know, it's like the more that you show up and the more that you're like, kind of like, we can see you're like really down for the guild and you really want to like be a part of it, the more likelihood you'll be, you know, kind of green lit through the process. I hope that answers your question. Long-winded answer.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, that was good. I guess that permissioned part is a big part of it too. I mean, yeah, we do have the public tavern where everybody's welcome, but in order for us to like keep functioning, you know, at our capacity, yeah, we are a permissioned group, so we do just make sure that everybody's going to be a good steward of the community also going forward. That probably helps, but yeah, all the things help. It's a lot of work. It's not easy, especially in a decentralized fashion where there's not a CEO or whatever to like just say this is the plan. You know, like everybody has to like say the plan. Basically.
It's a labor of love though, and something I always come back to is like this idea of soft consensus. Like he showed all of the roles, that we have inside the channels, like we don't try to get everyone's approval to say like, yeah, I like the name of this or the color of that or the font of this. We just say like, hey, what do you guys think about this? A few people, we have our own emoji, the swords emoji. Few people give it the swords emoji, great, I'll deploy it. And so we move super fast on things like that. And if there's a blocker later, we're open and we say, okay, well, is that a problem for you? Like if it is, let's talk about it, let's work it out. But very rarely do we encounter resistance for something that someone wants to do and they want to run themselves. So having a soft consensus in place to just get the feels of other people and, you know, respect their opinion when they give a chance to look at it. Same thing with DAO proposals too. Like we're happy to get things up on chain to get proposals moving forward. And if someone didn't get a chance to see the proposal and they block it, then we'll have a discussion in our channels and see what the blocker is, make sure we can clarify. But we haven't had any blocked proposals or, you know, halts of members in onboarding. Over 50 members are on board now, and, you know, half that in internal RIPs.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What kind of like, what kind of members and skills do you have at the moment in the Red Guild, and what would you need to complete your roster? Like, what skills are you most interested in and type of persons currently?
Yeah, that's a good question. And we've kind of been like talking about that one recently. I mean, personally, I think we need some more visual designers, like pure visual designers, not UX researchers. I think we have a lot of that. And we have some UI, but I think we could use some more like actual pure graphic design. We get a lot of requests for that type of thing. And I feel like we're stretched a little bit. So that would be one. Motion graphics also would be another one that I would say.
I'd vote for like pure project managers.
Project managers.
I would +1 that. Project managers, more community people, like you know, people with a pseudo technical knowledge, but who also are like down to write some copy and engage with the broader community. Because for us, creating bridges between other DAOs and other communities, whether they're in Web 2 or Web 3, is a great way to branch out and create more opportunities. Just like Scott from LexDAO, that's something we're trying to experiment with. Not that specific project he's talking about, but something we are working on with the DAO shop framework. And maybe, I mean, Barada's here. If you want to talk a little bit about DAO shop, that might be a really interesting segue.
Yeah, sure. So DAO shop is pretty simple. The goal is to help people go from zero to DAO. And it turns out that there are a lot of theories about DAOs. There's some frameworks that will help you build DAOs. But actually going from an idea to a DAO, and a DAO that doesn't just exist but has engagement, is hard. There's really only a handful that are succeeding right now. One of which is RaidGuild, which is why this place is so cool. But anyways, so RaidGuild is awesome because RaidGuild is a DAO, and we have members from all of the different DAO frameworks, DAO researchers, community managers, all of that. So we understand the ins and outs of DAOs. And so we can help people understand why they might want a DAO, how to design their DAO to actually achieve their goals, how to actually put it together and deploy it. We can help people connect with teams that can provide like legal services around their DAO if that's a thing you need. And we can help provide some support around like onboarding your users, helping them navigate Web3, blah, blah, blah. And the idea is just like, you know, if you want a DAO, if you think DAOs are awesome and you want help actually making that real, we can help you with that. So, yeah.
Which I guess would also be another potential member intake. Yeah, anybody interested in learning how to help build DAOs and to help with the DAO shop initiative also, yeah, would be welcome.
Yeah, and with the apprentice program, we're gonna have some opportunities to help people learn about that entire process. So if that's also something that you have expertise in, like maybe like you're really good at community, but you want to learn more about DAOs, or maybe you're really good at like, you know, the technicals of how to actually like deploy the contracts and combine mechanisms, but you want to learn more about the entire process. We're going to have some things in the apprentice program to help people kind of level up and work through that process. So you could really understand the full DAO design workflow.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Louis?
Yeah, that's really
Louis,
cool.
right?
Thank you very much. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, nice. You got any other questions? We got a few more minutes here.
I mean, if there's no one else asking questions, I have another one.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, so as far as I've understood, like the Discord place is the main place where you guys coordinate. What are your like practices and preferred tools to coordinate the RaidGuild community? Like I imagine like you have like community calls and all these things, perhaps a Discord. Are there like tools or practices that you're exploring specifically or innovating with?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of interesting things, and there's a lot of RAPs around that. Like for example, if someone posts a proposal or submits a proposal to the DAO, there's a bot. Someone in the guild made a bot that watches for those proposals and then posts a message into the Discord like, "There's a new proposal, go vote now," basically. So like that kind of thing. We try to keep Discord as our only coordination place, and then pipe things in basically from elsewhere. Another like really interesting one I think is the like the join and the hire forms. Basically like those forms intake information like on the join side, like you fill out the form on the website, but that's an Airtable, and then that same data from that same intake, or when you fill out the join form, like that same data carries with you as you go along the member onboarding process. And so like once you become a member, then it's just like a status change on your data, but your data is still so it's just in the member registry. So all members can see that and they can find each other and everything, but it's all the same information in the exact same place. Not people having to copy paste this information from this place to this place. It sounds kind of like whatever specific, but I think it's been like a great help to like just like a continuous information like symmetry, like that's like a really big, making sure that everybody knows as much as possible about what's going on basically, I think is really, really important. So those things will get better. It's just like the first iteration of that, but it's pretty nice already. And we just kind of have like this Kanban view of all these like Airtable forms that are coming in. And it's just like,
Do you want to show them what the Airtable looks like?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
The Airtable is a great tool. Ven's done a great job of like kind of triaging it to have a wonderful visibility. We also have one of our newer apprentice members here who is partaking in the handbook redo, Simano, and he's been offering a lot of ideas. He was the first person to work his way into RaidGuild, which is amazing to me. Like 100% worked his way in. And is now also stepping up to kind of organize and structure like how the raids go, to make sure the visibility is clear, to make sure that our GitHub repos are clear. So throwing his weight in the ring and helping out a lot in ways that maybe we don't have time to do right now because we have a lot of raids that we're working on.
Yeah, he's perfect example of just like creating value so much, and if you do that you will get into the guild. Basically that's like the number one greatest thing for us to incentivize and to reward, is just people who have show self-initiative to improve the world around them. The world around them in this case is the Raid Guild, but yeah.
And it goes beyond that too. Like if you're interested in forking the Raid Guild and finding better ways of taking all the processes and all of the flows that we've created to make the unicorn guild, let's do it. Like join, like we will be so happy to have someone champion that process and take what we've started and go beyond.
Totally. And we're still like working through our iterations of operations as we like finagle and experiment our way through a decentralized collective that's working on things, and that's like an iterative process. But definitely one of our main goals at some point is we're just one group, and there should probably be 100 of us, thousands of us doing these kinds of things in different industries even, so open sourcing all of that is obviously one of our goals, and just building better and better tools for other people to be able to do it also. That's another like large recurring kind of like RIP process.
You're gonna show them the Kanban view.
So this is like our Airtable. So it's just for the members anyway. So like this form is the form that you see on the website, and it's just Airtable. It's collecting data that then goes to the It's just the same data but a different view in Airtable. So then we have this whole Kanban of statuses of like where people are on their path to becoming a member to the guild. And then once you're in the guild, then you can just like check, where status is member. So now, and then everybody has this view where they can like find each other, and if they need to email them or add them to a call or send them some ETH or whatever. That's one. And then like the raids are basically the same. So we have a hire raid guild form, which collects the data. Then it goes into a Kanban, which is like the statuses of all the raids. So everybody can kind of like see these different views of like all the raids happening. Well, those are the two main views for raids. But yeah, that's been really helpful. But just like one small piece that can get like way, way, way more powerful over time. Basic Airtable, you can like totally like export, whole APIs and then use that as a full-on database basically. So there's like a ton of things that we can do off of that, but just like, whatever, we have limited time. So we just have to do the things that create the most value right now, basically. But yeah, that stuff like that's really helpful for coordination tools. But definitely the main thing that we've tried to do is minimize coordination tools as much as possible, and then to power them up with the DAO. So, I mean, basically, I think we're just using like DAO and Discord, right? And Airtable.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And Airtable is only specifically for mostly people who are organizing like members and organizing raids, like because we can also be our own treasury managements. Like when we deploy a raid, we spin up a multi-sig so that the client funds aren't mingled in with the DAO until it goes to like attributing back funds. But yeah, we'll spin up a multi-sig, and it's great because like as a monk, like a PM or a cleric, which is an account manager, I can go into Airtable, I can grab the 4 addresses of the people who are going to be working on this like website design sprint, and I can spin up a multi-sig with them as the signers. I can send the link to the client and say, great, make a 2K deposit, 50% down, pay 50% upon completion. That's what we usually do for a lot of our client projects. But that way the members of the raid are actually in control of the funds that are coming in to that specific raid. And I can get all that data really easily.
There.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
really good stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Hope it helps. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's really cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I guess we're out of time, but yeah, any last questions?
Just a small.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, just a real small thing. I ran into a little trouble on the join the raid guild page. The very last part says ready to pledge. Check yes if you're ready to pledge 1 ETH or already have. Leave blank if you prefer to wait for a raid to earn your way in. So I would try to leave it blank, but it's a required field. Should I just?
Interesting. Well,
maybe 0. If you just put a 0 in there, maybe.
No, it's a check mark.
It's actually a check. It's like a radial.
Just go ahead and check it, and then we'll edit it later. And no stress on that.
Thanks.
But thank you for the feedback on there.
Just overall, guys, this is the coolest thing. I'm very new to DAOs, personally jumping into it from the marketing side of things, and I'm a gamer ever since the days of EverQuest, and so a lot of this really rings for me. I really enjoy it, and I think what you guys are doing is super cool. I'm very excited to see if I can be a part of it in some small way. So thanks so much for the time today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'd love to have some new bards in the guild.
Awesome.
Just before everyone jumps off, I just do want to highlight we're doing meme-driven development all week. So we're going to be looking at any submissions you guys come together, whether it's straight memes with code on top, and that means like a meme that inspired something that you then built. I dropped an idea example in the memes channel of that, and we will be issuing memberships, DAO memberships for the ones we like the most. So post up, join a raid, create your own raid and share in the memes channels, and we'll review on like Thursday or Friday or something like that and pick the winners.
Yeah. And I made that last question on the join the Raid Guild not required. So we're done. That's Raid Guild style right there.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Good feedback.
Thanks, you guys. That was really good.
Yep. See you guys. Have fun.
You guys, bye bye.